All right, guys. So, welcome to the 2024 room tour. I am so excited to share this with you guys. I am pumped. I've been waiting to do this now for almost 2 years. My last room tour was actually over 2 years ago at this point. We're going on 2.5 years. Can't believe my channel's been going on this long, but that's another story. However, there's been lots of changes to the entire room, lots of things added to the collection. I love sharing this stuff with you guys. It's part of why I do this channel, is I love sharing my passion. And toys are certainly my passion. But besides the toys, I got lots of other cool stuff in here, which you guys probably don't even realize I have. Because I don't really focus on it, because my channel is more primarily focused on the toys, but I have a lot of other cool stuff in here, which I'll certainly show and highlight. But without any further ado, let's just jump right into this. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait to show you guys everything that I've accumulated essentially over a lifetime. Like I said, it's a passion of mine to share it with you guys. I love it. It's part of why I wanted to do the channel in the first place, is basically just to talk toys, share our experiences, all that kind of good stuff together. So without further ado, without further rambling, let's just get into it. As a little preview, let's just do a quick pan around of everything. And I will go into much greater detail on everything coming up right now. All right, so here we are, the entrance to the toy room, man cave. And it's amazing to see people's reaction when they first come to my house and I open this door, because it immediately hits you from both sides. And as they walk down the stairs, they're always like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this is crazy. And then when they see the actual room, their minds usually are completely blown. But be that as it may, let's check out what we have on the walls. So on the walls, basically here on this side, I have the Motu Origins figures. And I've gotten pretty much all of them, and not all of them are even hanging up here. It's just the ones that I have room for, and essentially my favorites. But I pretty much have them all. And some of the ones that are expensive as well. Anti-Eternia He-Man. I always love Faker. But there's Triclops, who's an expensive one. I got a bunch. Then I have so far Beastman and He-Man from the Filmation. Then I have some over here. Now this, kind of keep it hidden in here. This is vintage. This is the original. Kind of keep it hidden back here. There's Wundar. Just amongst the classics. Interesting, I just realized I have two Wundars. That's kind of amazing. As I'm going through this right now, this is when I realize it. So, anyone in the comments, if anyone needs a Wundar, I got two. There's a He Skeletor. I love Grizzlor. And then I have a bunch of DC stuff down here. I love this line. I love this figure. The Eradicator's phenomenal. Arkham City. Then some of their kind of harder to find McFarlane's. These are some of the earlier ones from Batman Who Laughs, the Robin. This one is a really hard one to get, is Batman Who Laughs. And these are some of the original ones that came out, these two Supermans and the Batman. I love these two right here. I think these look just spectacular. And some Marvel Legends, some of the original ones. I would say this one and this one are my favorite. I love this Punisher. Got from the 89 Batman from the Toy Biz, Joker and Batman. This Gambit's really good too. Oh, I got Ghost Rider and Blade, Cyborg Superman, Arkham, Batman, Batman Begins Batman, some other Marvel Legends. So this is kind of like a just a smorgasbord of various stuff. So that's this side, and I'll show, I guess, over here. I actually have a ton of Sports McFarlane figures, but I just basically put my favorite ones up here. So Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, Mark Messier, Gretzky, Brian Leach, Mike Richter, Henrik Lundqvist. Even though I hate him, I think that's a great figure. The Martin Brodeur, Mark Messier, Eli Manning, Jeremy Shockey, Tiki Barber, Phil Simms, LT. And then I have some more newer McFarlane Multiverse figures, which I really like, some of my favorites. A couple of Marvel Legends thrown in there. So that's that side. Now let's check the Star Wars side of this wall. So this wall is mostly Star Wars, but I have a few Marvel Legends, just because they kind of fit up here. The only spot where I could basically put them. But I got a random Star Wars, Marvel Legends, all sorts of stuff. Here's some of the newer ones. While I do keep a lot of them in box, as you guys will see, a lot of them have come off box as well. These are two of my absolute favorites. I love these. Spider-Verse. These are really cool too. Just some older Clone War figures. Shadows of the Empire. These are cool sets. I love these, the episode 1 homages. And just these homages on the big card backs for the Black Series I think are really nice. Like, those are something that you would take off card, because the card is part of what makes that really cool. Then Djarin and the Child. Then some just random Black Series. And these are basically the vintage collection before the vintage collection. It was the Saga collection, where they look like the vintage collection, but they came in with these outer shells. I thought it was a very underrated line. So guys, that is just the stairs. Let's enter the room now. So as you make your way down the stairs, these are the first things you see. So this is kind of like my more recent Marvel Legend wall of my favorite figures from the card back line. Essentially, I think these figures all look absolutely tremendous. Ghost Rider's phenomenal. Like all these, really every single one of these. The Spider-Man figures, that Spider-Man 2099, the Symbiote Spider-Man. Love this Green Goblin. These are just awesome. This might be one of my favorite figures of any modern toy, period. There's a few more over here. The Star Wars Unleashed. This isn't too different than from my previous toy room tour. These haven't really changed. I haven't touched these in a while, but these are my Star Wars Unleashed figures, which I think was just an incredible line, and I thought it was kind of taken for granted, honestly, because I think it looks incredible. And what you guys are hearing in the background, are my arcade one-ups, which I have 3 of. I have the Ninja Turtles, NBA Jam, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 with the chair. These are basically the 3 that I wanted the most. I only have room for 3, so I had to pick the 3 I wanted the most. I really want X-Men and Terminator 2, but there's just no room for it, unfortunately, so that's okay. I love these. Yep, it's rebooting. Well, not rebooting, but just going to the intro. So that is the arcade one-ups. I actually play these quite a bit, and they're always a really cool showpiece. So that is this corner. Let's move along. So moving on from the arcade one-ups, this is kind of my Black Series area. I have a few random figures in there, the Karate Kid, but some Black Series. Just show these slowly. And here are my vintage Star Wars figures. They are all complete. There's not one here that's not complete. Actually, I'm mistaken. This one does not have the gun. I always forget that. The gun is actually the hardest thing to find about that figure. It goes on eBay for like $80 by itself. And there's just some newer vintage collection figure sets that really had no other place to put. So that is that wall. Now turning around, this is leading back up the stairs. Now this door on the other side of it is kind of the unfinished part of the basement. But here are some of my more expensive vintage collection figures. That's the original Ahsoka. This was the Boba Fett mail away from like 10 years ago. Star Killer, the original vintage collection version, unpunched. Figure that got me into collecting, signed by David Prowse. Vintage on-card Emperor, vintage on-card Luke, vintage on-card Vader, also signed by David Prowse right there. This is a custom figure I got probably about 20 years ago. I just love it. I think it's really cool. Then some other ones, signed by Ray Park. This one is off the card, but has the card, and I just kind of placed in this one protector to make it, it almost actually looks like it's sealed. Tri-logo Emperor. And these are the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary cards, or figures. That random Sergeant Slaughter. And here's also just some random Star Wars stuff. It just where it could fit, you know. Bad Batch. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's not the Bad Batch. Oh yeah, it is. From the Bad Batch. That set in the corner. It's actually kind of a hard set to get. Now, here's all my comics. And just some random stuff over here. Obviously, my stand. Some protectors. It's kind of I keep over here. Comic book bags and boards. A couple other random things. A couple Mattel Creation Extra boxes that I have. Comics. Legos that I'm holding for my buddy Scott. They're your Legos, buddy. There they are. whenever he comes up here, I'll get to him. But here is my wall of vintage collection and other random figures. Start over here. Now, these are obviously the re-releases of the Turtles, but they're kind of like my favorites. But here, you guys can see, these are all Turtles, and these are all vintage. And I believe they are all complete. Got, let's see, like 23 of them. So a decent amount. This is actually a rare variant of a Power of the Force figure. It is a half circle. No, it's the full circle, excuse me, on the hand, but only the one hand. There's nothing on this one. This is actually a variant. It's kind of expensive. So I have it up there, and these all go like 6, 7, 8 deep. So whenever I have to find something, I'm like, oh boy. But it's a space saver. But I think it looks great. It's actually kind of fun, honestly, to go through sometimes and just dig. And I don't really have them in order because by time when I first set them up, I did. But when I started adding more and more, they just kind of went wherever they went. And to like take them all off peg and redo it, it's a project for another day. But not now. So, coming around this way. Record player. I have it actually all keyed into my receiver, so when I play it, it comes out in surround sound. I have a 5.1 surround, so that's pretty cool. Some Star Wars figures over here. This one signed by Jeremy Bulloch. And this is just a wall of wrestling. Some big ones here with Crush, Legion of Doom, Sting, Macho Man. Sorry for the lighting. There we go. Down there, these are chases, some of which are from AEW Shop. Some classic superstars. I love the tag teams, Heart Foundation and British Bulldogs right there. It's the Ultimate Warrior. That was the first figure I bought from the line. So, going to take a quick twirl around here. This is my kind of seating area. There, that's my graded comics. Here's the TV. But here's the wrestling ring setup that I have. And let me turn this on. Let's see. There it goes. So, right now I kind of have the main event of WrestleMania 1 in here. I think that looks spectacular. I really do. I love it. Looks so good. This ring is just it's a ball. It was kind of fun to put together, and its presence is just tremendous. It has a great presence. Like, it catches your eye immediately. It's very sturdy. It's well put together. The ropes are really nice. So, spinning back over here, just some random stuff up there. The Dark Knight Returns. Little Wayne Gretzky figure. Some wrestling figures. And I take advantage of every little space that I have here. I mean, it's really kind of nuts. The Sergeant Slaughter I got in North Carolina. Some Jordan starting lineup figures. This is actually Michael Jordan's rookie figure. I've had this for probably about 30 years now. I got it when I was in high school. I always loved starting lineups. And so quickly, my PlayStation collection. I have a lot of PS4 games, obviously. PS5, Switch, Xbox, and here is just, it's a staggering amount of Ultimates. These are all Ultimates. I think I'm only missing like 2 or 3. I know I'm missing Charlotte Flair. Who else am I missing? Charlotte, Becky, and Shinsuke. Like, I'm always nervous this is going to tip over, but it hasn't yet. And I feel like I'm tempting fate. Now, up here, or over here, let's go over here, is some more random McFarlane sports figures, just Rangers and Yankees. I'm a fan of both. Some AEW figures. Well, let's go up here first. Some Dark Knight Rises, Bane and Batman, a Kenner Batman, Spider-Man and Venom, and here's a nice little collection of figures. The Superpowers. These are all vintage, all the originals. Had these for a long time. And they're in okay shape. Some Toy Biz X-Men. So, here's what Man Cave always makes fun of me for, is my setup for Galactus and the Sentinel. Because I put them on like these, they're like basically like dinner trays, but they work. They work. Galactus, big battle over here. Same with the Sentinel, battling all the X-Men. AEW figures down there, more wrestling figures down there. This goes like deep. The Return of Superman. Some G.I. Joe figures. Not a ton. Some 25th anniversary and some newer ones. Hey, let's see. Over here is kind of like a Transformers corner. These are all modern-ish Transformers, but some of the better ones. Love that Ghostbuster, Optimus Prime, San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, He-Man and Skeletor. But some really cool stuff up here. Some more figures. Signed by James Barr. Right there. T3. What do you think, buddy? Translucent Predator. And like I said, here's my graded comics. I have older videos showing what I have in the graded comics. Now we're going to head back where this area where we're going to head into right now, which is kind of the back of the room. It is just stuffed to the brim, but it's almost like a treasure hunt in there. That's kind of the feel that I get for it. And there's just so many goodies like everywhere. And I kind of like that charm. It has like a crazy organized clutter to it, if that makes any sense. So let's head on in there. So now let us enter the back part of the man cave. And this is insane. I always feel like it's a treasure hunt, honestly, because I have so much stuff back here and a lot of it is just kind of buried. It's really kind of wild. So let me get back here. Guys can get a glimpse of some of the stuff that's back here. Mafex, Supermans, which is an incredible line. These are the ones that have come out so far. I imagine all of them are going to come out at some point. And Star Wars Episode 1 figures are back there. Some episode... I'm sorry, not Episode 1, Episode 7. Episode 8 figures. The Mega Powers. I love this piece of Mark Messier and Martin Brodeur. The Sega sign, which is appropriate because it stands over my complete U.S. Dreamcast collection of 252 games. It's the entire Dreamcast collection. I even have some imports, but there's a lot of, real bangers in here. Cannon Spike. I mean, everything. I literally have the entire thing. Mars Matrix. Ready to Rumble. It's a fun game. One of the best games ever on the Dreamcast and ever, period. Which I have the arcade one-up. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Capcom 1. There's some of the imports. You can see under here I store some of these. And just some random stuff up here. I think this Superman figure, it's a Jim Lee figure. It's very cool. It's very cool. And these Rocky figures from NECA are just spectacular. And these have gotten very pricey over the years. Apollo. Ivan Drago. Got Rocky back there. Some very cool figures. Clubber Lang. Yeah, like I said, just random stuff everywhere. Here's my PlayStation games. Wherever you see gaps like that, that's like stuff that I've sold. But I still have a lot of classic games. Just, Resident Evil's right there. It's probably my favorite game on the PlayStation 1. Strider 2. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This game is awesome. NHL Open Ice. Ridge Racer. So yeah, so a lot of cool stuff. But if you flip around behind me, over here, this is kind of like my DC shelf. And it goes pretty far back. But I love how this looks. I kind of put the main characters in the front. That Riddler's awesome. Let's see. You guys can kind of tell there's just a bunch. Firestorm right there is really cool. I have a Hawkman back there. So yeah, so that's basically my DC McFarlane, like, loose open shelf. It's probably about 30 figures at least in there. And as we scroll down, this is the remaining 4 shelves here are all wrestling. So this is kind of like my 80s wrestling shelf. Not perfectly delineated, but close. Terry Funk in there, the Hart Foundation, Rhythm and Blues, the British Bulldogs, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, Brutus Beefcake, $1 Million Man. Lots of cool stuff in there. Next one is kind of the Attitude Era. A lot of cool stuff in here. The Godfather back there. This one is kind of WCW mixed with a little bit of Attitude Era. Sting, Flair. It's a great Hogan right there. I love this NWO Hogan. That's the Ultimate. These 2 Hogans are pretty good too. That's the WrestleMania Rock. DX is over here. Yokozuna's back there. So like I said, it's not perfectly delineated, but it's not bad. It's just for room's sake. It wasn't perfect because not every era is completely balanced. And then the bottom shelf is all the moderns. Cody, Punk, Brock, Roman, the Bloodline. So lots and lots of. So yeah, so that's the modern shelf. So for all you guys that always say, "Oh, I don't open my toys," I open quite a bit. There's the ones on the wall, but here's quite a bit of open wrestling toys right there. And there's the ring over here. So, if I want to do any displays or anything like that, that's where it would be. Right now I have the WrestleMania 1 display, but I can change it up at any time. So, let's see. Let's move on. Got a couple of these. And the Heels and Faces, King Kong Bundy, and the 2 various Andres. And now we'll get to the Detolfs. So on top of this Detolf is some more Mafex figures. It's like more Batman related. So the Batman Hush, Azrael, Joker, and Christian Bale Batman. And there's also an amazing Yamaguchi Joker back there. So there's no glare, I'll open it up. So these are some Hot Toys and sideshow pieces. Got Mandalorian with Grogu. Love that Darth Maul right there. I think that's a great Darth Maul. Jedi Luke. Move down. Incredible Wolverine. And 89 Batman. And that's a cool Man of Steel statue. That's a statue from it was a GameStop exclusive, I believe. So that is pretty cool. And then the last one. They just, I don't know. They ended up together. Is the Captain America from Endgame and the Crow. Which I think that Crow one is amazing. So is Cap. But so that are the Hot Toys statues, that kind of thing. And then at the very bottom is my 80s shelf. Kind of self-explanatory. And the Ghostbusters ended up in there, busting all the serial killers. But I love this. And that's actually a Mafex T800. So that is that. Here's where I keep kind of like in this little corner here, all of the superpowers, the new ones. This is kind of one of the newer ones. This Batman is awesome. And this is like a little arcade machine. It's preloaded with like a ton of games. And on top of here is mostly a Spider-Man display. These are mostly Mafex, but a few Marvel Legends. Marvel Legend, Marvel Legend, Marvel Legend, Marvel Legend, Marvel Legend. The rest are Mafex. Amazing Yamaguchi, actually. And I didn't really have any other space for him, so I was like, I'll put him with the Spideys. So that's this little arcade machine. It's spin around this way. We get more into the video game era, or stuff. It's like Taylor Swift, the Era Store. There's this Mezco Batman. He's kind of just chilling by himself. And that's what I meant. Like, I just kind of put stuff like randomly, like these are randomly here. It's like just little treasures all over the place, which I kind of like that. I think that has a charm to it. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that way, but it's kind of how I did it. Here's some stuff that's still in box. I do have to open this up at some point. It's awesome. Just McFarlane Batmobile and Batman. I actually do have McFarlane Batmobile already, but that's the original release. And the Batcycle. They're just chilling over here. Some wrestling stuff. Behind here are my PS2 games, my TurboGrafx games, all that kind of stuff. A lot of these right here, what we're looking at, are PS4 and PS5 special editions. That came from like Limited Run, like here. Shredder's Revenge, which is pretty cool. This I thought was awesome. The Force Unleashed. And these I keep sealed. I just think they look great. This one I did open. This one came actually from Japan. It's basically a bunch of Samurai Showdown games. It's like 6 or 7 games. And they come in these classic style boxes from Neo Geo, like these. But these I actually kept sealed. These are so cool. I love this. Let's see. Castlevania Requiem, which is pretty cool. Castlevania Collection, Contra Collection. So definitely some really neat stuff in here. Just gonna kind of put these back. Salt and Sanctuary is a great game if you guys have never played that. I don't want to knock over He-Man over there. That's the He-Man Classics. Got this Joker just kind of chilling. So over in this corner, again, just some random stuff. There's the Rambo. There's the Storm collectible Mike Tyson. The Loose Rambo. This is the self-transforming Optimus Prime. I did a video on him a while ago. The one bad thing about him is that you can't keep him in robot mode when it's rested. He just kind of collapses, so you have to keep him in truck mode for display purposes. So these are a lot of the mini systems, the Turbo Mini, Super Nintendo, Genesis. I got the PlayStation. And down here, I have my Genesis collections in that bookcase. Probably have about 130 games or so. A lot of the heavy hitters, Musha, Batman, Punisher, Alien Soldier, Contra Hardcore, Turtles. Got a lot of those. And he's just chilling here, just chilling. Along with these two, just chilling. A lot of the Mattel Creations boxes I have over here. Here's some figures that I actually still have to open, like this Storm Collectible Zangief. You guys will see my Storm Collectible Street Fighter display shortly. I'll have to add him in. Some Mafex figures I got to open still. The Turtles, Headless Horseman, Secret of the Used 2-pack, which is awesome. In kind of the NECA corner. Tons of NECA over here. It's PSP. Like I said, just stuff hidden. So you go in here and you can get lost. Something will catch your eye and you'll be like, wait a minute. What's that? Here's my MP collection. Some of these are technically third party, which I don't know if they're considered knockoff or however you want to, but they're third party, but they're just as good as the originals. I do have Jetfire, which I have not transformed yet. He's daunting. These are just chilling. Here's where some of my big pieces are. You guys know all about these. He-Man is kind of taking center by himself. The Turtles. They're some boxed games, which are some of my favorites, and I got like acrylic cases for these. They're really nice. This game is sealed, which is cool. And here's kind of like my Turtle Super 7 display. I think this looks really cool. Again, I do open figures. Some I do, some I don't. Let's loop around like this. So, got that. And there's my Storm Collectibles. So I got to add actually Zangief there, and I also got today Balrog, so I got to add them somehow to the display. And I have the one Mortal Kombat Scorpion. Masterverse loose figures. A couple shelves. Down there, some more DC, but that's those are DC movie figures. And let's kind of loop this way. This is where things get interesting. Some Masters of the Universe classics. Those are all classics. Some of the commemorative figures. Now let's back up to show you guys what's going on in the bottom here. This is kind of where things just pack up, where I'm constantly trying to rearrange and make the space. This is where a lot of the stuff that isn't open goes, and it just kind of piles up in here. And if I trade stuff in or sell stuff, this is usually the corner where it comes from. But some stuff I don't. Like, I love these various Batman sets from McFarlane. Here's the Batman and Robin wave, which I actually wanted to open, but I'm like, I don't even know where I'm going to put it. So until I decide that, I'm just going to keep it in the box. Some kind of heavy hitter NECA, Schwarzenegger, Commando T2. Major pod guys, the big rubber guys. This is one of the coolest pieces I've gotten this year. I love this. The Freddy and Jason. I almost want to get, if I get signatures from anyone in the franchise, I want it to be on this going forward. I think that's what I'm going to do. Now here is my Black Series display. It's kind of all the Sith Lords and stuff. Although that's before Revan turned Sith, but you guys get the idea. And Ghost, Obi-Wan, and Yoda looking over. That's kind of my prequel figures. Anakin looks cool. I actually put Mace Windu's robe on Anakin. Let's see. The original trilogy display. And down there is kind of the sequel trilogy era. Mara Jade back down there. All the indie figures. The 6-inch ones. Love this. The Conan Super 7. Come on. I think that's pretty cool. Batwing, obviously. And here we kind of have this crazy corner. This is where the bigger stuff kind of gets stuffed in. I mean, the Hall of Justice can't even see it. Eventually, I have to figure out a way to display that properly, but what are you going to do? A lot of the vintage stuff is in here. Again, it's like a treasure hunt. Vintage, vintage, vintage. Some vintage Transformers are just kind of in there. Vintage. And in the shelving, I just kind of stuffed with all sorts of stuff. Tons of Black Series in there. A lot of the vehicles and these smaller play sets are back there. Obviously, Batman and Bane. Jango Fett hanging out. Up there is the Batman 66 guys. With Peter Parker and Green Goblin just chilling. This is kind of a little Star Wars setup, obviously. Original Millennium Falcon complete. And this right here is kind of, it's my pride and joy right here. This Back to the Future Hot Toys display. Hot Toy Marty, Doc, and DeLorean. Can't forget Einstein. But, drop this thing. I'll pick it up in a second. Lights up. It's incredible. It truly, truly is incredible. You can light up the under the cars too. It's truly, like, I think the centerpiece of my entire collection. I love how this looks. It's spectacular. So like I said, this area back here is all kind of a treasure hunt. And I can't forget up here. Just have some random stuff up here. Couple Indiana Jones figures. That's from when in 2008 they were released. Indiana's father. Couple starting lineups that were my favorites. A Tim Duncan rookie. Kobe Bryant rookie. Derek Jeter. That is Mariano Rivera's rookie. And some Jakks Rocky figures. It's pretty sweet. Oh, I just have a random sitting down there. Yeah, I love how this looks. I'm just going to come back to this. It's incredible. I love it. So anyways, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of the room tour. It's a little crazy, but it's mine and I love it. That's what matters. It makes me happy. It's like my place of zen. I just sometimes come in here and I just sit. I just sit in this area and just look around. And I'm like, I love this stuff so much. It just brings me so much joy, like all this like plastic nonsense. And because it just floods me with memories and floods me with things that make me happy. Brings me back to childhood, brings me back to sitting, on the floor playing with my toys. It brings me back to going to Toys R Us and looking at toys, in a simpler time. It's really magical. It really, really is. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time, take care.